Okay. Welcome back. Welcome back. It is once again time for Meatballcraft. Dimensional Ascension. Apparently it's Stinky Edition today. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in. I apologize for what happened last recording. That's my fault. I ran out of space for my recording. The amount of space I had allocated for video storage was exceeded, so it just cut me off. I didn't realize it until after I finished the video off and did an outro and everything that I had lost like the last 4 minutes. That's fine though. We can actually just pick up right where we left off. What I was trying to explain when it cut was I don't know much about Thaumcraft because Thaumcraft was super popular in a lot of older mod packs. It's considered by many to be the definitive magic mod for Minecraft. But it also kind of fell off the bandwagon for a while because it didn't really get any updates. Minecraft just sort of moved on. People started playing newer versions, and it was an older mod that was compatible with older versions. So the period of time in which I played a lot of Minecraft packs, Thaumcraft was not a popular addition. Like, it never made it into SevTech Ages. It never made it into quite a few of the more popular packs of that particular era of modded Minecraft. Is the sun setting? Yes, sun setting. So I don't know too much about it. I have some familiarity with it. But one thing I do know is there's a mechanic involved in it that's like, there's certain systems of magic in other fantasy, like I think it's in Dragonlance. I think Dragonlance has magic like this. Obviously, the big standout is Warhammer. Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k has magic like this. But essentially, and it's also in Dragon Age, which Dragon Age is arguably inspired by those older fantasy settings. But magic has a kind of corruption to it, like a taint. It's literally called warp or taint in Thaumcraft. And if you accumulate too much of it while you're using magic, it's almost like exhaust fumes, right? From running technology for too much. It's like pollution. It's magical pollution. If you get too much of it, bad stuff happens. So it's recommended, especially to new players who don't know what they're doing, that your Thaumcraft laboratory be far away from your main base, just in case something catastrophic happens and you end up blowing up the entire area or converting every block in a 10-chunk radius around your lab into corrosive slime or something because of some accident. It's recommended that you not have it near your stuff, which is why I've selected this tree. This is one of the Natura trees, the giant redwoods. We're over here in the Dead Forest, which is close-ish to where we fought the Ice Dragon, which is just over here. But it's most notably, it's very far away from our base, which is right here. Even if a nuclear warhead went off on this tree, our base would be fine. This is also why I chose to bring the grab bags here and open them, because I don't know what mods have what in their grab bags, but some mods like to be a bit cheeky, especially the Chance Cube mod and a few other mods that are related to it. And opening a grab bag could give you stuff, or it could cause a giant explosion, or summon a bunch of monsters. I opened the bags. You didn't see it because we cut out of it, but this is what was in them. I got some potions, bottles of enchanting, emeralds, and some trinkets. The bags that contained coins just appear to give me currency for a bunch of dimensions we haven't been to yet. Dustopia, Creeponia, we've been to the Nether, Gardencia, Grecon, the Deeplands, Candyland, Iromine, Pracacian, Lelietia, Borean, Runador, right? These are all dimensions we haven't been to yet. I think they're part of Advent of Ascension. Yeah, they are part of Advent of Ascension. So, they just gave me a bunch of currency, and then the last, the RF Tools grab bag gave me a Dimlet control circuit and a Dimlet controller type controller. And apparently, you get this by deconstructing other dimlets in the workbench. So getting these to start with is kind of nice. I'm going to go ahead and take these with me, and we will hurry along. As you can see, I've also made a sentient bow from Alchemical Wizardry. just so I have some kind of ranged option. We have an empty bag, I know we do. Yeah, there it is. So let me just claim this. I just wanted to show you what it was. I have overhauled, not overhauled, but I've expanded the base pretty significantly. And we have an agenda for today. We have some stuff I'd like to get into. I'd like to get into extra utilities by generating some grid power. And we're also going to try and get into immersive engineering as well. And as per the quest book, we are going to need to get into, what is it called? What are you called again? Project E. We're going to need to get into Project E as well. We use the mana that we found, the mana metal. Oh no. Oh no. I have caused a block update, and it is destroying this tree. That's fascinating. Anyway, that's an interesting cascade of problems we just caused. Oh no, the tree is actively collapsing in on itself. Huh. Whoa. Listen here, little guy. At least we got some free saplings out of that. Anyway, my point is, I'm going to build a tree house off of this Natura tree, way up high, and then I'm going to make my Thaumcraft lab in that tree house. So that way, if something horrific happens, and everything is just nuked, then it's fine. Like, we're way out of way. Oh man, we got so many saplings from that. We have enough to grow one of our own of these if we wanted to try, although I'm not sure if I do. They are a bit big. They take up some space. I'm not entirely certain if it is worth my time to attempt that, but maybe. Ooh. Ooh. We're leading a bit of a parade around here. An ender spider? Oh, you're spooky. Ow! I'm not a fan of that. Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, let's go home before we get too distracted here. Actually, are those blazes? Do they... Oh no, those are lightning rays. Screw those guys. Home. Let's get out of here. Okay. Now, as you can tell, I have replaced... Ender shards. Interesting. I've replaced a lot of the torches, pretty much all the torches, with glowstone. I played around with Chisel. Chisel is a fantastic mod. I can't speak highly enough of it. And it lets you change the textures of various blocks to a number of presets. I quite like this ornate texture on the glowstone. It makes it look like a lamp, like a real-life lamp. I also quite like the bismuth tiles texture as well. It looks very lumpy. My bedroom is still a mess, but we have a working fireplace now. This wasn't a high priority to fix, but I will make my bedroom nice at some point. I swear I will. Let's see. Let's go downstairs and let me show you around. Also, by the way, I just want to show you. If I press F7, which is what shows the light level X's on the ground, which you've seen before, You'll notice there's nothing here because I've lit this place up well enough that we're no longer in any danger. You can see there's X's out here. Stuff can spawn out here. Not in the house. Ignore the graves. I'll explain that later. But that's Coriel Tombstone stuff. I wanted to get some of that rolling as well off screen because we need to get some of that to continue. But you'll notice there's no X's anywhere in the base, which means even if theoretically those spawn blocking torches weren't enough, it doesn't matter too much. So there's some stairways down, right? There's this one, there's that one. There's going to be another one over here. I just haven't installed it yet, but there is going to be one over there. So let's go down. I still haven't removed the cows, by the way. I'm getting a bit lazy on that. But as you can see, we have stairways down, and voila! I have cleaned this up since the last time you saw it. This is significantly cleaner than the last time you saw it. So, I think most of... Here's the plan, and there's also stuff back here too. This door, that stuff wasn't finished either. But we'll go through this one at a time, just to show it off, because I'm a little bit proud of what I've done here. And this is a bag of holding, by the way. I made it wondering if it would be better than the satchels. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't. The value of a bag of holding is you can put other containers in it that have stuff in them, and it'll accept it. Which is nice, because it means I could fill this bag of holding with shulker boxes, and it would have a massive amount of storage in it. But since we currently don't have access to shulker boxes, it's not that useful right now. So I'm just using it to hold all of my tools primarily, and I'm still using the backpacks primarily to support stuff. Anyway, this Tinker Smeltery has 2 seared tanks, which contain the lava that power it. It's got 4 outlets on it. 2 that empty into casting basins, which allows us to make blocks, and 2 that empty into casting tables, which allows us to make various casts of things. And some of these casts, like the ingots, I've made 2 of, so you can have 1 on each of the table. Let me show you how this works. And this is a redstone clock, right, that I can turn on and off. So let me show you how this works, just to flex. This can hold around 1, 2, 3. It can hold around 2.5 stacks of substance in it. Oh, almost 3, excuse me. Or wait, no, that's not correct. I don't know why there's arrows in there, excuse me. Let me try that again. I have messed this up. Supposed to do this real clean and nice looking, and now it's not going to be. It's my fault. Whatever, screw it. What's in there can melt. Let me just focus on getting the arrows out. That's unfortunate. I was wondering why it didn't quite work. Anyway, let's all pretend for a moment. Let's pretend that that didn't happen. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. It can hold 3 stacks, and then it's got enough for, I think, half of 1 more. Yeah, almost half, right? Because, well, it's a little bit more than half, because half a stack is 32. So it can hold 3.5 stacks worth of substance. And because we made this out of glass, you can see inside of it, which I think is very cool. This is the reason I made all this seared glass, so we can see inside the tank as it's working. Now, it will melt all of this. And then we can see the liquid inside of it when it is done. And then we can cast it out in a variety of ways. While we're waiting for that, I also went ahead, since we now have access to the extended crafting, we can actually make the crude blast furnace bricks and, more importantly, the coke oven bricks for ourselves, which I have done. This is the coke oven, okay, the completed coke oven. And it generates, when we put coal in it, it slowly turns it into coal coke, and we get creosote as a byproduct. Okay, Now, there is a pump here going into a reinforced large drum from Extra Utilities 2, which, remember, the unit of fluid measurement in modded Minecraft is millibuckets, because we are on the bucket standard for fluids. 1 bucket is a unit of measurement in Minecraft. So you knock the last 3 zeros off of that. That means this can hold 4,096 buckets worth of a fluid. Extra Utilities barrels are quite good. This currently has 143 buckets of creosote oil in it. And by the way, just interrupting that explanation for a minute, as we can clearly see, we can see the seared stone inside of it. That's 65 blocks and 1 ingot's worth of seared stone. I can then turn this lever on, which starts the redstone clock, and it will begin pouring them out 2 ingots at a time. Very fancy. And it will all get hoppered down into that barrel at the bottom. Creosote oil is used to make treated wood. And of course, the pack is telling us that it's better to make this into fluid infuser, but we don't have that yet. Treated wood and steel are the building blocks of immersive engineering, and we need treated wood to make the engineer's workbench. Boop. There we go. Time to tinker, which I held off on making because I wanted to do it on screen. So we now have that. And we can use this to make more creosote if we need it. And of course, this is the blast furnace. You know what that does. I currently haven't run into the need to expand to the sides and make side rooms, but I've already kind of got plans for what's going to be in there. We'll talk about that in a minute. This is the central area, which is a little bit unfinished, but mostly unfinished. I went with chiseled plain vanilla Minecraft stone. I used the chisel to give it a big tile texture, so it's just seamless, smooth texture. The ceiling mimics what's above us in the Hobbit hole house. We have this area, which is where everything is made out of granite paired with birch. That's the sort of Tinker's Construct immersive engineering zone where we have all of our multi-block machines, like the blast furnace, the Tinker's tank, and all these other things. They're made of multiple blocks. Okay. This area, which is made of andesite and spruce, this area is for our single block machinery. Okay. We've got, wind beneath your feet, thank you. We've got the compressor, the pulverizer, the simple alloy smelter. There's a quartz grindstone. This isn't a machine that's run by power. You actually turn this by clicking on it with a crank, but there's nothing in it, so it won't spin just yet. But this can make things, this can make gemstones and iron and stone. This can turn gemstones and metals into dusts, which we need for various recipes. The quartz grindstone can just, well, I didn't mean to do that, but did I just destroy it? I think I just destroyed it. I think I just destroyed that crank. Hang on. I sure did. Well, hang on. Okay, it's just 5 sticks. We can make that. Anyway. I apologize, but let's go ahead and drop some of this off. There we go. And let's put our saplings away in here. And mob drops go in here. There we go. Clean ourselves up a little bit. Dang it, that's going to bother me if I don't fix it. There we go. There. There we go. This is a Stirling generator from Ender.io. This is a very simple machine, but you're going to need it to make the some of the Ender.io stuff operate. You just put burnable things into it, and it generates this energy, this UI over T. I don't know what that is, what abbreviation that means from Ender.io, but that's Ender.io energy. Fortunately, the Ender.io energy is forge compatible, which means you can put that stuff in energy cells and stuff from thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is forge compatible. I did explain that last episode. So all of this stuff can be powered off of the same thing. Believe me, it was a huge pain to do tech packs and stuff back in the day when none of the energy types were compatible with each other. And this extremely elaborate system is making liquid fertilizer. I'll explain what this is doing, but the end product is we currently have 143 buckets of liquid fertilizer and counting, which is the fuel that is used to run the generators in hatchery. The methane digester generator is used for that. The liquid fertilizer can also be sprayed on crops to make them grow faster. We're just making a ton of it because I wanted to start processing it down. So, explaining what's happening, we have endervars, which is an ender, it's a portmanteau of the term ender and reservoir. If you have at least 2 of these, I believe, they regenerate water, but they have to be touching each other, and then they regenerate water. I'll show you. Like, if I were to break this, see, it's empty, but I can put a bucket of water in it, and then the water is held there. You can see it holds 1,000 millibuckets, which is 1 bucket. But the endervar works on, like, vanilla Minecraft logic of if you have water at catacorners to each other, it will regenerate, right? That's how it works. So watch. I put it there, and it immediately regenerates. It puts one in there because that's the logic of vanilla Minecraft water. How water source blocks adjacent to each other create new source blocks. So essentially, this is making a new bucket of water every second, is the way this works. That's pumping this out into this iron drum. I could have upgraded this iron drum to be a much bigger size, but I felt that 256 buckets was a pretty good size. It's mostly just as a stopgap. It's part of the system, so that I could come over here if I ever needed buckets of water for anything. I could just come here and take them out of the iron drum here, and I have it. That fills up, and then this pumps out of here and separates it into these 3 fertilizer mixtures. This one has a hopper on it. I didn't put hoppers on any of these others. I just didn't bother because I was in the middle of building this machine. You could make this better by automating the inputs for all 3 of these. But they have fertilizer in it, and the fertilizer is mixing with the water to create liquid fertilizer. As you can see, it's constantly generating liquid fertilizer, and then the liquid fertilizer is constantly getting pulled out by these 3 pumps down here, and then being put into this demonically gargantuan drum, which is an enormous fluid container. Look at the number on the end of that. That is 65,536 buckets of a liquid can be put in a demonically gargantuan drum. Technically speaking, I think the Extra Utilities 2 barrels are like the best fluid storage, or at least they're extraordinarily large, and they're very cheap for the amount of size you can get out of them. Technically, like, I think the tanks from Blood Alchemy can exceed this, but that's pretty freaking huge, though. And they're pretty cheap to make. In fact, I'll show you how to make them. Here we go. The stone drum, which we don't care about, we're not going to make those because that's just made out of cobblestone and a bowl. I don't even know how many that holds. The iron drum is made from a cauldron, which is 7 iron ingots. Then it's made from 2 weighted pressure plates, which is 2 iron each. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 iron. And then 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So for 17 iron, you get an iron drum that has 256 in it. The iron drum can then be reinforced to a reinforced large drum. You can upgrade it by putting 6 diamonds on it and then 2 weighted pressure plates made of gold, which is just 4 gold. Then the demonically gargantuan drum. This looks stupid complicated, but it's not. It wants demon ingots and Klein bottles. So a Klein bottle is just 2 ender pearls in a glass bottle. You can craft this in your own inventory because it doesn't need a 3x3 grid. And that's a Klein bottle. The demonic ingot. If you look at it, it'll tell you how to make it. Well, it tries to, but it's kind of vague. Legends tell of ancient creatures from before, the dawn of humans, whose bodies were deformed by the heavens. They fled to a strange realm beneath the earth and built elaborate temples of worship in their new homeland. They infused the bones of their dead with dark energy and weaved constructs of living flame, but their most powerful creations were lava wells where they would throw special metals, hoping that their tribute would be answered with riches. So, essentially, this is trying to tell you how you're supposed to get the demonic metal, but it's a little bit poetic and vague. What you're supposed to do is, let me show you, 1, 2, 3, 4... is in nether fortresses, you will find naturally spawning. Like, this is vanilla Minecraft stuff. You'll find occasionally something like this, which is just 1 block of lava surrounded by 8 nether bricks. If you throw gold into this, Extra Utilities 2 has added like a sort of ritual where sometimes the gold turns into demonic bars. And I found if you sort of aim at the edge, it works a little bit more reliably and you won't lose the gold into the lava. There you go. See? Demon ingot. And I can just dupe, dupe, dupe. And that's how you get demon ingots. Technically, in vanilla, I say in vanilla extra utilities, the only purpose of demon ingots is to make the biggest barrels, the demonically gargantuan drums. But in this mod pack, of course, there are several other uses for it in custom recipes. So this is where all of our single block processes are happening right now. This is where all my single block machines are going to go. That's where all the multi-block machines are going to go. And then over here in the room of diorite and dark oak is where all the magic is going to go. And currently is, for now. We don't have a whole lot of it. I made a witch's oven, which there's not a lot of uses we can use this for just yet. The Hellfire Forge is here if I wanted to make more Tartaric gems. I have upgraded all of the Tartaric gems I made to lessers, which is as high as we can go for now. And my enchanting stuff is here as well, along with all the stuff I use to enchant. Paper, enchanted books, a bunch of lapis, normal books, bottles of enchanting, and solidified experience. So, that's the base tour for now. Technically, there's going to be a staircase in this room as well, but I haven't gotten around to building it yet, and I guess technically I'd have to move this whole thing, wouldn't I, if I wanted to do it. We'll see about building a staircase there eventually. But let's get started now that I've given you the base tour. Oh, and one more thing. This area down here, I was originally unsure what I wanted to do with this, because technically speaking, there's only 3 decorative stones, unique decorative stones in vanilla, andesite, granite, and diorite. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to make this area out of, and I also wasn't quite sure what I wanted to put there, until I remembered this pack has like 80 different dimensions in it. That's not an exaggeration. I believe it actually is around 80. And that's a lot. So I think what we might do is in this direction we might start, this is where we'll build the portal rooms. In a normal big pack like this, there's tools you can use in some mods to make portals that can go to multiple dimensions. There's ways to teleport to different dimensions from a single portal. And I would consolidate all of it down into one and just have a single place that dials out to a lot of different places like a Stargate. But there's so many dimensions in this pack, I'm not sure if any one Stargate style modded thing can handle 80 different freaking dimensions. So some portals we may just have to leave up as they are. And I think this is where we're going to put the portals. We're going to make a place way down here where the portals can all be arrayed. So that'll be our travel nexus, I think. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to build it out of, but that's a problem for later me, not today me. Anyway, we have an agenda today. We have some things I want to get into. So, we have some, let's see, where did I put it? There it is. We have some immersive engineering stuff to do. And I think we're going to go ahead and, I don't know, put this, just whop this down here maybe. There we go. I do like this workbench, by the way. It looks very nice. Okay. And we can now make more complex immersive engineering things with that, by the way. And actually, it's a good thing we have this small storage crate, because I can use this as well for storage for that drawer. So we can set this up and start doing this to work on things. I would also like to get started on extra utilities. Extra utilities has a concept called grid power. I'm going to go ahead and just read you the book, because I think the book gives an better explanation than me, because I tend to ramble a lot. Okay. Use at your own risk. Okay, grid power. Extra Utilities 2 has a passive power system. It runs off of the following rules. 1. You do not need fuel. Each generator produces power passively from the environment. 2. No wires. You can place energy generators and users of energy anywhere. in any dimension, and they will access the player's energy grid automatically. 3. Personal grids. Each power grid is unique to each player. These cannot be separated out, but 2 players can merge their grids together to be implemented. 4. You cannot store power. Any power you create must be used or it is wasted. 5. If you do not have enough power to meet requirements, then everything fails. Okay? So, keeping that in mind. Why do we want to get started on Extra Utilities 2? Well, there's certain things we need from Extra Utilities 2, but there's several things we want from Extra Utilities 2. Under Personal Augmentation, we made the slime boots and the slime sling and the glider, and they're pretty fun. But there's some better things we can make. Okay, we can craft feather falling and install it in any boots that we want, right? Which is nice. I might make one of these, especially now that we have the immersive engineering bench up, because we kind of need the immersive engineering bench to make a lot of this stuff, or to at least make it easy. So we could create a low voltage thruster and I think install it on any boots to get feather falling. But our ultimate goal is right here, the angel ring. The angel ring is a bauble. It goes in one of your ring slots. We currently have no rings equipped. Well, I guess technically the climbing gloves counts as a ring. But we have 4 ring slots available. So we can have up to 4 rings. The angel ring counts as a ring, so it's pretty cheap. It's not really taking up a slot we would be using for something else. And it's extremely powerful. Wearing the angel ring grants creative flight. However, it costs 32 grid power to run it. So we need a setup in Extra Utilities that is generating at least 32 grid power to enable us to use the angel ring. But if we set that up, we have creative flight anywhere. Now, the angel ring itself is a bit difficult to craft. We can't make it right now. It wants violet matter, night metal ingots from the Twilight Forest, divine shards, which we still haven't fought a boss that drops them. I was kind of hoping that slime dude would drop them, but he didn't. We need totems of undying, which drop from evokers. We need a spirit fruit from the Betweenlands, right? We need a charger ring, which is charger large plates, which is made from, I think, melting charger shanks in it to make liquid charger, which is kind of a joke. It's a bit of a meme. But we also need soul vials. We need to capture souls of the king charger. We might have to get to work on that. To make that, we need fused quartz, which we can make right now, but solarium ingots, I don't even know how to make that. That's gold and soul sand, which we could probably make in the alloy smelter that we have from Ender IO. Yeah, we could make gold ingots and soul sand. So I actually might go ahead and do that just to make those so I have them. I want a mob to capture its soul. Yeah, because the king chargers aren't super rare, but they're not common either. I think I'm going to go ahead and make 2 soul vials and put them in my backpack just to keep them, just to make sure. And we also need to make the ring of flying squid at some point, right? And to make the ring of flying squid, which uses 16 grid power, we need to make the chicken wing ring, which uses 1 grid power. And I believe the chicken wing ring gives you like the same kind of falling power as a chicken, where you just sort of float to the ground, which is nice because that would essentially depreciate the slime boots. We wouldn't need them anymore because we can just use the slime sling to fly, or to fall with style, right, is what we would be doing then. So we're going to be essentially making a chicken wing ring. And let's go ahead and make some soul vials as well. But we're going to get started in on this because we want to build towards the angel ring. That is one of our mid-term goals, is to get the angel ring because it's extremely good. Okay. So let's get started with that. So first of all, we want to make a resonator. A resonator is made on the basic crafting table, and the purpose of the resonator is it uses grid power to transform certain blocks into other things. Stone burnt is made from polished stone, and it is one of the items that is needed to make pretty much everything in Extra Utilities. It can also turn blocks of quartz into quartz burnt, and it can turn stone burnt into rainbow stone, but it requires an active rainbow generator to be nearby. It can turn lapis into lunar reactive dust, coal into red coal, which is an important thing because we kind of need this for some things that we're going to be doing in hopefully this episode. It can turn gold pressure plates into upgrade bases. iron bars into wireless RF heating coils, thickened glass into redstone, magic crystals into stormy crystals, and it can turn a Jahazar statue into a resonating eldritch artifact, which is a content tweaker transaction that it's used to make some crazy stuff. Don't worry about it. It's not necessarily immediately relevant to us. So we're going to need to make one of these. We're also going to have to make a manual mill to get started, okay? Because currently we have no way to generate GP. But what does the manual mill let us do? Well, it lets us spin a wheel manually. We can crank a wheel to generate 15 GP for as long as we're doing it. So our goal is to make the manual mill and the resonator, and then we can crank that soldier boy to make stuff. And eventually we're going to automate that. So we need one redstone gear, which is 4 torches and hollytop petals. Actually, hang on. Let's make the bottles first because we've got to get the solarium cooking, and then we can walk away from that. So it's a gold ingot and soul sand per solarium, right? And then this is what? This is any fused quartz, which is blocks of quartz, and we're going to need 3, 6. Okay, so hang on. We're going to need 1, 2. Then we're going to need blocks of quartz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Then we're going to need in the box of nether materials, we should have, yes, 1, 2. Okay, let's go ahead and start this cooking in the induction smelter. So we, nope. There we go. Let's just turn this oak, because we have plenty of oak. We're drowning in oak wood. Let's go ahead and get this started. That may not be enough oak to finish this process, but we'll see. Actually, we'll move the alloy smelter over so it's next to the Stirling generator, because I think the Ender IO stuff just automatically pushes into each other, which is convenient. Let's go ahead and get that started. Yeah, that'll fill up because it's generating that. Go ahead and start with that for now. And then that'll slowly begin making that, and then we will... Let's start in on making this manual mill. So, we need 4 redstone torches and some hollytop petals. I believe we have that. If we don't, we can make it. 1. We may not have that. Let's go ahead and make some redstone torches real quick. There. Okay. Oh, right, sorry. It has to be on the basic crafting table. There we go. So we have one of those. Then we're going to need resonating redstone crystal. So that is made by combining 4 redstone and an ender shard. First of all, we don't have any of those, do we? Oh, we do. We've just dug some up. I don't even need to make them. Excellent. That's good to know. You can make these, however. They are craftable. What you do is you take 4 redstone dust and combine them with an ender shard. And to get an ender shard, you take an ender pearl, and then you use a glass cutter on it, which is made from 3 iron ingots and a stick. The glass cutter's only real purpose is to cut ender pearls, which creates 8 ender shards, and then each one of these costs 1 ender shard to make. So you can get 8 resonating redstone crystals out of a single ender pearl. But we have been digging them up, I think, out of this redstone ore. Occasionally, I think redstone ore drops resonating crystals, so we're good on that. And then, how does one craft a polished stone? Oh, is it just 4 of any stone in a circle? I think we can do that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and this is probably... Oh, no, it is made on a normal crafting table. We don't have to use the other thing for it. Good to know. Okay, there's the manual mill. We've crafted it. And now we're going to need a resonator, because without this, we can't really use what we've just made. So it's going to be 5 iron, 2 redstone, and a runium chunk, which is from Advent of Ascension, and we have those. We have a runium chunk. We have several, actually. 5 iron, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it was 2 redstone. 1, 2. Okay. Ah, it is also made on the basic crafting table. Nice. Okay, so, honestly, I feel like extra utilities is more magic than technology, considering how it works. Build this weird esoteric spinning gear, and then this magic ring will let you fly. That definitely sounds like some wizard stuff, not some engineer stuff. So we're gonna kind of do it over here. I think I'm gonna make the executive decision to put extra utility stuff in the magic section. So we put the resonator down. Grid power 0, 0. No power used or generated. Then we put this, and as long as we spin it, we're generating 15 power. And if we stop for any reason, it just goes away. Okay, so what is our first and most basic thing we're going to want to make? Lava mill operates when adjacent to lava. It gives 4 GP. You can have up to 200 GP generated by this, and there's no loss. So we could have, what? We could have 20 of these, I think. Or 80. I'm bad at math. You're bad at math! You're bad at math! But you could have quite a few of these before you get an efficiency loss. The water mill gives GP for adjacent flowing water. The higher the level, the more GP. Source and full water blocks do not count. The wind mill generates powers from wind, power boosted when in rain. Operates when placed over fire. The dragon egg mill, I think the way this works is it gives 500 GP, which is a huge amount, but what you have to do is you have to sit an ender dragon egg on top of it, and that's how it works. So we'd have to kill the ender dragon, successfully collect the egg, and then sit the egg on top of the dragon egg mill, and then it would generate 500 grid power just passively. Okay. Okay. Wireless RF battery. Quantum quarry. Mines blocks from a hypothetical dimension that might have existed. Some of the extra utility stuff is pretty funny. Okay. I think we're probably going to go for either the lava and the water mills. Those are the pretty traditional choices anyway. We're going to go with lava for now, I think. So that's going to be... But the reason we're going to go with water is we're going to have to make water wheels for power, for electricity in immersive engineering anyway. So I think we can combine the water wheels and the water mills together in one setup and sort of wring some GP out of it while also getting electricity out of it, which is... I think we can be efficient with it. But to make a couple of lava mills, because let's say we want to make the ring of the flying squid, right? A chicken ring only uses 1. The flying squid uses 16. Jet propulsion at your fingertips. I don't know what that means, but it needs 16 to function. So, going by that logic, okay, we need 4 lava mills. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 28. We need 28 stone burnt. Okay. Fortunately, I think we have, like, just enough. We have 30. Okay. I don't actually know how long this is going to take. Oh, it takes a minute. Since we'll be here for a minute, let me go ahead and start the quartz. Let's start cooking that so we can make the glass for those vials to catch king chargers with, because that at least will give me something to be doing, and that's something that will be happening in the background. Okay, there's our solarium. Put the blocks of quartz in there. We have 16 birch wood, which will break up into a full stack of wood quite cleanly. Let's go ahead and just dump that in there, and that should finish. That should complete relatively quickly. Yeah, the more I think about the extra utility stuff, the more I'm very sure that the grid power things should all go in the magic zone. This is definitely magic. 3, and we need, what, 7 to make one of those? Yeah, it's 7. What we'll do is we'll get enough to make one, and then we will we will make that, and then use it to make the rest, so I don't have to stand here and spin this wheel all day. We can also, now that we have immersive engineering stuff set up, now that we have the workbench, we can make the immersive engineering revolver, and we can test that and see how much damage it does. Ooh, not quite. I'm quite interested in doing that, by the way, because some of the immersive engineering gun parts that we have found in loot have traits on them, and I'm kind of interested to try and see what happens if you make parts on your own. Can they come with traits? Answer, maybe. Let's see. Let me go ahead and just bookmark that so we can see it more easily. Okay, so we're going to need a resonating redstone crystal and an iron, a gold ingot. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm interested to see if, because my experience with the immersive engineering firearms is that they kind of suck. They're not great. But maybe some changes have been made. Perhaps they are better now. I do not know. Okay, there's the lava mill. Operates when adjacent to lava. Now, I have these. Where are you? These. Reservoirs from thermal expansion. These are pretty cheap to manufacture, and they can hold a lot of fluid. These reinforced ones can hold 90 buckets of any fluid each. And I went down and I partially drained a lava lake that was in a cavern. So I have quite a bit of lava. Just on hand, you know, as one does. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we will go ahead and do that. And then we go ahead and do that. Why is that not generating? Oh, you need at least 8 GP to run the resonator. Okay, so we're going to need more than 1 to operate this automatically. I see. Well, that's slightly upsetting, but that's okay. We'll have to do this again. In fact, now that I think about it, let me start something else cooking in the background while we're sitting here spinning this wheel. Because I am going to make a gun. We're making guns. Gun is going to happen. So let's go ahead, actually. And, actually, no. Let's do this. No. That's what happened when I was running away from the dragon, is that I fumbled and dropped that thing into the world and scared the crap out of me. I was afraid I'd lost the dank that had all the good stuff in it. Let's take a full stack of iron ore. And then I think it should be under gemstones, because I didn't really have anywhere else to put it. Coke. Blocks of coke. We should have blocks of coal coke. Because I made 32. There it is up there at the top. I made 32 blocks of coal coke. I took 32 coal blocks and turn them into coal coke, which is where all that creosote came from. Let me go ahead and start melting this iron. And that'll give us 128 iron ingots. And then we are going to start making some coal coke, or some steel using the blast furnace. And we'll be doing that in the background, because we're going to need lots of steel now that we're starting in on that. And making it that way is more efficient than putting coal and iron in the Tinker's Smeltery and just letting it mix there. So we're going to start that process. Once we make our second lava mill, I think we will go back and put the iron in there just so it can start cooking. There's another 7. Because it's going to take 4 lava mills to automate the resonator. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That just means we're going to need to make more than what I thought to run it, but that's okay. I think the ultimate goal is probably to make that dragon egg thing. That's probably the ultimate goal here, but... Oh, actually, I'm sorry, before we do that, let me flip the switch and start extracting that iron, because that should have melted by now. Yes, it has. Oh, it's already auto-extracting because I left the switch on after the demonstration. That's nice. Let's actually do this. Let's take this out, because I think the blocks are a bit overkill for this. Let's put a stack of the coal coke in. Look at how rich we are in coal coke now. Look at that. I was scraping and scrawling for individual bits of it earlier, and now I'm just like, yeah, casually, here's 32 blocks of it. Here you go. We're going up in the world, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there. You know, in retrospect, I shouldn't have put the lava there. I'm surprised this chiseled dark oak wood hasn't caught on fire. Are chiseled variants of wood not flammable? Because it kind of seems like they aren't. It kind of really seems like they aren't, actually, because I feel like that lava would have definitely started a fire. I didn't really think about it until I did it. It's an interesting experiment, though. If so, I may not have had to make my fireplace quite so bulky in terms of stone. Maybe just using chiseled variants of wood on the floor and the ceiling would have helped. Man, this is boring. I do like a lot of the mods in this pack, but this sort of thing that sometimes mods make you do is very frustrating to me. This sort of manual sit here and, you know, auto-click something to get started is pretty frustrating. I get the idea behind it. You're supposed to work for your automation, but it's a little frustrating nevertheless. Let's go ahead and make another one, because I think this does go faster with the more grid points you have in your system. Let's go ahead and do... you know what? Let's do one of these. Yeah, let's do this. This is what we'll do. Because I think the vials have a little bit of problems picking things back up again. They're good at placing, but not picking up. Let's do... That might be close enough to catch on fire. I don't know. We're gonna find out, is what we'll do. We're gonna find out. If it starts a fire, I'll be right here and I can put it out. 6. Yeah, and it costs 8 to run this thing, so that might be too close. We'll see. I feel like that's too close, because that is vanilla planks on the floor. I think that's going to start a fire. Or maybe not. Almost there. Once we get this to the point where the resonator is capable of sustaining itself, I'm going to make like a stack of that polished stone and dump it in there, and we're just going to walk away from it and let it cook some of this stone burnt for us. There we go. Okay, nice. And this should mean that that is now automated, I think. I may not quite be understanding how this works. Maybe I need to have them farther apart. I don't quite get. I'll have to read the manual is what I'll do. I will read the manual and we'll check and see what the Extra Utilities manual says about that. Does this just... Oh no, it is working the way I thought it is. It is actually making it. Power drain. And we can upgrade it so it goes faster. Okay, that's all I needed to know. Let's provide a small iota of automation to this. We'll just take one of our vanilla hoppers. We will take a wooden hopper, because there's no need to waste the vanilla hoppers since they're kind of just better. We'll take a small source grate. There we go. Let's go ahead and start a little bit of automation on this. And what we will do is the vanilla hopper goes up here. I guess we'll do that, and then we'll do that. And yeah, that'll start pulling them out one at a time. And then this, we can just dump everything in there. And that'll make some stone burnt for us. Okay, nice. Now we can walk away from this. We don't need to worry about that anymore. That is now operational enough that the snowball has begun. It is now beginning to work on its own. Which is nice. That's where we want to be. Let's see. Right, we were going to make those vials in case the next time we see 2 king chargers, we're kidnapping them. We're going to engage in what is widely considered by many to be a felony. Kidnapping. Human trafficking, except it's with monsters, so it's fine. It's not real. Solarium nuggets. There we go. 2 soul vials, which we will keep in our bag of holding because they are tools for us. There we go. What else? What else? What else? What else? Right. Before we flee and go elsewhere, let's start this steel as well. Let's begin. We should have 2 full stacks of iron ingots. There we go. The process, as it is, has begun. Now then, let's go ahead and work on, while all of this is spinning in the background and cooking, while all of this is working in the background, let's go ahead and get started on what the game considers to be progress. which is working on that Project E stuff, where we make a Philosopher's Stone, and then we use it to start transmuting things into other substances, which is the path forwards, as far as we are concerned. Red heart, give me that cooked chicken. Okay, so Project E. Now this is what we went to the Nether for, right? We went to the Nether for this, to get this mana, blah, blah, blah. Right, and there's several side grades. This is awesome. Alchemy energy, I already read this. We can create the destruction catalyst, which is kind of expensive. Obsidian, I don't know what a Nova catalyst even is. It's TNT and Mobius fuel, I see. But essentially we make this thing, and then it uses redstone as fuel. It powers up when you put redstone into your inventory, and that bar fills up and the redstone's consumed. And then we can just click on stuff and blow up blocks. It's just like a bomb. It's a bomb rock. It's a rock made of bombs. Woot. I think we went over this earlier. This is what allows us to create and or duplicate mob drops, which is a very useful power. However, to get started, we need Stygian iron, and to get Stygian iron, we can't use the Nether Star shards or the tier 2 Woot shards. We have to craft it directly on the advanced crafting table. Most of this we can kind of do. The two big problems are the purple blazes, which I have seen them. They're very rare. They appear in the Nether occasionally, but I haven't gotten one to drop any purple blaze yet. The other thing that's going to hold us up is cursed organic matter. So you'll notice there's two really important crafting recipes here. The first one is this crazy recipe down here that lets us make 1 unit of it. That's crab claws, ice crystals, armor plating, a whale fin, which is very sad. We're going to have to kill a whale. I'm sorry, guys. Eye of the Storm, which is dropped from a charged creeper. I'm going to have to figure out how to charge a creeper, because I don't think waiting for a natural one is a good idea. We might have to... Maybe there's a lightning bolt spell that can charge a creeper. I'll have to look into that. But void scales, a cyclops eye, Shoggoth flesh. We're going to have to fight Shoggoths. And a gorgon head, which we already have. That creates 1 cursed organic matter. However, the takeaway is we can duplicate it. By using cursed organic matter, a crushed emerald, and hop graphite dust, we can turn 1 into 2. That means we only need to do this crazy recipe once. And after that, we can make more. Now, the emerald dust is pretty easy. We can just crush any emeralds. I mean, we have the pulverizer for that, or we made a machine that can do that. I believe it's the pulverizer. The pulverizer can crush emeralds into crushed emerald dust, so that's fine. But the problem here... No. The problem is the hop. Hop graphite dust. This is... Hop graphite ingots are used to make graphite-like bars, which are used in the arc furnace. They are used to make the arc furnace run. Without that, the arc furnace doesn't work. The arc furnace is the big boy immersive engineering multi-block. It can turn ore into bars at an alarming rate, and it's also capable of creating alloys. It can alloy bars together. It's a really big, bulky machine, sucks back a lot of power. It's expensive to run, but it's very good. Normally, the path to create this is you need an industrial squeezer, which is another multi-block from immersive engineering. The industrial squeezer can turn 8 coke dust into hop graphite dust. And then you can smelt the hop graphite dust into bars, and then I think the ingots are used to make... They're stamped to create graphite electrodes, which is what's used to make the arc furnace work. Without those, the arc furnace won't run. However, there is another way to make it that is easier and doesn't involve us going down that rabbit hole. The manufactory, which we cannot currently make... I looked into the recipe. There's some stuff in here we don't have yet, but it can turn coke dust into hop graphite dust. But the compressor can do it too. The compressor can turn 1 coke dust into 1 hop graphite dust. And we actually had this. So chiseled stone, easy. The electronic circuit was easy. The basic machine frame was a little complicated. This version is obviously the one we're not supposed to use, like that's the crazy advanced one, and we don't have the elite crafting table. But the basic machine frames do drop into basic dungeon loot, and we had already found 2 of them. So I used one of the machine frames we had found to create that device. So we have it on hand. It is over here. I have placed it down already. It's this, the compressor. Once we need to make hop graphite dust out of coke dust, we can use the compressor to do it. So that's a future problem, but it's a problem solved for the future. So we can't make cursed organic matter just yet, but we're going to try and get into Woot later. The real money, though, is here, on Medieval Vibes. Mana appears to have memory for alchemical power, meaning I can use it to create all remembered items at will. We need to make a Philosopher's Stone. Surprisingly enough, it's actually a pretty straightforward recipe. We just need 1 mana metal, 4 glowstone, and 4 redstone. Who knew? All those people, you know, harshing over how to make a Philosopher's Stone, worrying about it, man, they should have just gotten some mana metal. Like, I don't know what to tell you. As it turns out, it's actually pretty easy to make one of these. Assuming I can find the ingots in my box of substances. There it is. Okay. There we go. And I should have the glowstone in my decorative bag because I was using them to light this place up. Because we are not peasants, we can use glowstone now that we've been to the nether. We don't have to employ... Actually, this is made on the thing, isn't it? I bet you anything it is. This isn't made in our normal crafting grid. You're made on the special crafting grid, aren't you? No, it is. I just had the wrong configuration. I'm just dumb. Sorry. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. There. Philosopher's Stone! I have the power! And I'm alone in a world full of monsters, so no one cares. Like, I've destroyed society. We are post-scarcity, except no one cares. It's just me alone in a hellscape of endless suffering. So it doesn't really matter. I have infinite wealth, power, immortality. None of it really means anything. This is a powerful lesson on life. I hope all of you are appreciating this. We have pathos today, gentlemen. Anyway, the Klein Star, we need Mobius fuel for that, which is made from our Philosopher's Stone, which is, I think, alchemical coal, which is made by just putting coal with the Philosopher's Stone. A lot of the things that we've been sort of chomping at the bit to make or to get around are in fact from this. Hey now, get back in there. I don't know why the auto sort function on these sometimes breaks. This is a separate mod that adds these buttons to let you sort. It's not really intended to be compatible with some really big inventories. And you can sort of tell. Anyway, I don't believe this thing even needs to have a charge. Yeah, no, it doesn't. There. And then we need what? We need a lot of that, don't we? Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to have to do that 4 times. By the way, I believe the alchemical coal is also just a really good fuel. It burns for 64,000 ticks, which means 1 alchemical coal, I think, can cook an entire stack of something. The Philosopher's Stone just makes amazing fuel. That's just what it does. And that makes Mobius fuel, 256. And then we need a ton of that. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? Let's just do this and see if we end up with enough. There. This isn't going to be nearly enough. We're going to need so much more. Yeah, I figured. This is a pretty expensive process, what we're doing here. Let's see how far a stack gets us. Exactly enough. Okay. And then 8 Mobius fuels surrounding a diamond. A Klein Star Ein. God bless you. I don't know what that means. I don't know much about Project E. I'm not very familiar with it beyond the fact that it's literally alchemy. That's all I know. We're going to need a transmutation table, which is 4 obsidian and 4 stone. Any stone? Okay. We can make that happen. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's dark stone. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of hoping that this doesn't consume the Philosopher's Stone, but if it does, that's fine. I can make another one. No, it doesn't. Nice. Okay, transmutes this into that. We had a little bit of this, now we have a little bit of that. Now the Energy Collector Mark 1, this I know for a fact. We need several of these, I think. But one should be fine for now. We do have a large full-sized shadow gem, thankfully. We killed a giant shadow beast and got it. The alchemical crystal catalyst we're going to have to make. This is 3 sapphires, 3 jade, and 3 amethyst. We may not have the correct gems for that. 3 amethyst, 3 jade. We do have. We can in fact make it. Nice. 3 sapphires, 3 jades, 3 amethysts. Nice. We will take the 1 big boy shadow gem that we have found. Although to be fair, I haven't been aggressively hunting shadow creatures. I could have gotten more of that if I had really tried. We probably should try. They scare me though in this pack. They give you warp. We don't have many ways of dealing with Thalmcraft screwery like that. There's not a lot of things we can do to defend ourselves from it for now. 1, and then we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. It's that, and that. Energy Collector, Mark 1. The power of the sun. The sun, the sun, the sun, the sun. Antimatter Relay, Mark 1. The Book of Creation has instructions on how to use Project E. That's nice. We need another shadow gem. Okay, remind me again. We need 9 shards to make this. The Ancient Unrest is over for now. Do we have a hammock mod in this pack? Can I make... No. There's no way to pass time besides sleeping the night away. Hammocks, the hammocks is a concept in Minecraft where it lets you sleep the day away instead if you need to do something at night. We're going to have to go hunting, I think, shadow beasts to try and finish this because we don't have enough shadow gem shards. Or wait, no, shadow fragments. We may have enough because fragments craft up into shards. Wait a minute, wait a minute. No, we're not going to have enough. We're not going to have enough. Yeah, 6. We need 3 more shards is what we need. Okay. Let's put a hold on that for now. The next time it becomes night, we're going to go outside and start hunting shadow monsters in the abyssal biomes to see if we can find some. But for now, let's ignore the antimatter relay and move on to the energy condenser. The energy condenser is made from obsidian, diamonds, and an alchemy chest. The alchemy chest is made from obsidian, diamonds, low, medium, and high convalescence dust, a silver chest, and manyullyn. Oh boy. Okay, so manyullyn is, in theory, the be-all, end-all substance in vanilla Tinker's Construct. There's 2 alloys, there's 2 metals that can be found in the nether, okay? Which is ardite and cobalt. We have them both, cobalt and ardite. If you alloy them together, they create manyullyn. However, they don't create manyullyn the way you think they do. Because normally, like, let's look at bronze, for instance. B-R-O-N-Z-E. Liquid bronze. If we make it by alloying, 1 molten tin and 3 molten copper becomes 4 molten bronze. So they combine together. Their total numbers. So 3 and 1 become 4 of that combined substance. Okay? Now, peep this, okay? 2 molten ardite and 2 molten cobalt become 2 molten manyullyn. Which means essentially these collapse together. So a full stack of cobalt and a full stack of ardite doesn't become 2 stacks of manyullyn, it becomes 1. So manyullyn is a little bit expensive to craft. All right. This is irritating. It makes manyullyn kind of expensive, but it is doable. I went exploring in the Nether. We have a full stack of cobalt and ardite that we can use for this. We also have a bit of leftover. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to alloy a full stack of manyullyn together. We're going to need this much manyullyn eventually anyway, so it's okay. I just wanted to do this to explain it. And by the way, boy, does that look cool when you really fill up that smeltery with a bunch of stuff. This will all melt, and then it will blend together into a single stack of manyullyn. I think that is how you pronounce that, by the way. Manyullyn? It's either manyullyn or it's manyullyn. I call it manyullyn. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But anyway, let's go ahead and I guess... Actually, it says Book of Creation. Let's look at this and see how we use it. Because it says the Book of Creation will explain. Because I've never really gotten much into it. Okay. Alchemy is a great science. It allows for the replication and conversion of objects that possess EMC. This is the easiest way of making matter, but unfortunately not everything has EMC. Basically, what Project E does, the simplest explanation, is it assigns a value. See how coal has an EMC value of 128? Right? The way Project E works is that's its alchemy value of a single piece of coal. And if you combine things together to equal 128 EMC, you can transmute it into a piece of coal. That's essentially how it works. So everything in the world, or most things in the world, have an alchemical value attached to them in the form of a number. And if you can create at least that much value on the table, you can make it directly in exchange for that. So literally, equivalent exchange via math. Oh, okay. Transmutation table. This doesn't really explain how that works, but okay. All right, here we go. I think this is what we need. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of my drink. In order to endlessly produce matter using EMC, the knowledge of 3 devices is needed. Firstly, collectors generate EMC from light. Glowstone are the better source for these purposes. The more glowstone blocks surround a collector, the faster EMC will be produced. Secondly, relays act like EMC batteries and are able to transmit this type of power to and from adjacent blocks. This means that the energy from multiple collectors can be funneled into a single block using a relay. Finally, condensers can use EMC provided by adjacent relays and collectors to duplicate a given item. A condenser, to remain accessible with maximum efficiency, still has 5 free faces, and so do relays. Okay. We actually found one of these in a loot, although I don't know like where, but we found one. It is 1.5 million EMC to create a botanic alchemic catalyst. Wow. And transmutation tablet. Huh. Okay. Is there a Project E book I can make that will help explain this? Actually, before I look that up, let me check the Akashic Tome real fast, because it's possible they gave me one and I fed it to the Akashic Tome. Actually, editions, Agriculture, Craft, the Extreme Reactors book, Cyclic, Draconic Evolution, Extended Crafting, Open Blocks, Modular Routers, Integrated Tunnels, Hammer Core, Forestry, Open Computers, Project EX, I don't think that's it. Valkyrie Lib. I'm sorry, did I just turn my Akashic Tome into this? How do I turn it back? I sure hope I didn't just destroy my Akashic Tome. It says Akashic Tome Knowledge Sharing Book. I think this is what you use to share your stage progression with somebody else. But like if someone joined this private server, I could theoretically stage them up to reach where I am, but I don't see how to turn it back. Uh-oh. Hang on. Options, controls. Akashic Tome. Oh boy. I'm not sure. There doesn't seem to be a control key associated with it. That is a problem for future me to work out. I'll have to look that up and see if there's a way to turn that back or if that's stuck. See, this is why I don't like using the Akashic Tome mod that much. It's a little bit weird and sometimes things get a little funky. Anyway, that manyullyn should have created by now. It has. We've got 7 blocks and 1 ingot of manyullyn in there, which is a polite way of saying we have 64, which is less than you'd hope for, but more than you thought. Now, as a byproduct of making steel, or pretty much anything in the crude blast furnace, we do get slag. Slag actually is not, it's a byproduct, but it's used to make a number of things, so we're going to keep that. We can use it to make concrete and a bunch of other things while we're running that Tinker's stuff off. Is it night? It's still daytime. As soon as it becomes night, we're going to go outside and see if we can hunt some shadow beasts. Let's see. Is there anything we can really do? I don't think so. Let me try and set up this, because I know one thing. 2, 3, 4, 5. I know one thing about how this works. And by the way, we're probably going to build an offshoot room to contain the alchemy stuff, because this is definitely magic. But we can do one of these, and then one of these. I've heard this referred to as the power flower, because it kind of looks like one. It looks like a flower. But essentially, this is how you do this. And that should start, it's creating it. Yeah, it's starting to generate that number because we've surrounded it with glowstone. And it will slowly build up over time. And that's creating EMC. Once we have the other things, transmutation. Yeah, this is definitely magic for sure. I have no clue how to use any of this, but we'll figure it out. It's something. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're just waiting for nighttime to go hunt shadow beasts then. How's our stone burnt coming? It's probably run through most of it by now. We've got 2 and some change stacks of it. Nice. There's a really nice block, by the way, called, I think it's the Crusher. But it requires 3 manyullyn hammerheads to make. It's this. The Ore Crusher from Tinker.io is extremely good, but each of these is what? I think it's 8 manyullyn to make a hammerhead. So 3 hammerheads plus a block of diamond, redstone lamps, some seared stone from Tinker's Construct, and tin. But the Ore Crusher is capable of doing a lot of stuff. It can turn ores into crushed ore, which can then be refined, and it's a way of duplicating ore because you can put fortune books inside the machine to increase the output, so it can turn like 1 gold ore into like 3 or 4 crushed ore, and then those crushed ores can be melted to create pure metal, which can then be smelted. Like it's a way of increasing your yields essentially, but it's very expensive as far as manyullyn is concerned. It ain't cheap. Right, like it's a pretty expensive buy-in to be able to do that. I might do that. We might go mining in the Nether again later, perhaps off screen, to try and get another stack of cobalt and manyullyn. The ground bathes the pearly light of the moon. Oh no, that means there's werewolves outside. That sounds fun. Let's go find some trouble. Right, let's go get in trouble. I'm feeling the trouble welling up inside of me. I feel the earth move under my feet. Let's drop all this crap off. We don't need any of this for right now. I will, however, take my arrows back out. Thank you very much. I think we'll go get some more food, too. We don't really have much that we can cook. We'll take some apples with us because those are a pretty decent food source and they're very cheap. And let's go top off our wand. We've put some more experience on the Apprentice Earthmage wand, but it's not quite ready yet to evolve. We're like a little less than 2/3 the way there, but we're getting there. I could push it if I wanted to. And this will be a good field test of the sentient bow as well. This is actually good. I haven't shot anybody with it yet, but we have a decent amount of demonic will in our inventory, so I have high hopes for the power of the bow. Let's see. We need to go to the farm is where we're going. At least that's what I have it registered. It's the old base. I call it the farm because I never bothered to tear up all of the farm stuff. I believe all that stuff that it mentioned about stuff scurrying in the moonlight, that's werewolves. It should be anyway. Do we see any? I'm not sure what that is way over there, but we definitely need to go check out, just wander off into the abyssal lands and get lost. Let me see how much damage this does. That scarecrow has 90. This is a good test. 14? Ooh. That's pretty good. That's almost as much as the wand. Not quite. Oh no, the wand is still way more. It's like the bow shot is like half the damage of the wand. The wand is like objectively better. Dark beasts, but you don't interest me. You're not interesting. You don't. I need shadow creatures. We need shadow creatures out here, please. There is a multi-shot enchantment on bows in this pack, but it's staged, so I assume it's just as stupid as it seems. There's no way they would lock it behind a staging if it wasn't crazy. I assume that bows and other things will get a little bit more ridiculous when you unlock something like that as a toy to play with. I assume that will change how bows feel. There's a shadow beast of some sort. Ooh, is that a big boy one? I think that was a big boy. Oh, that was a big boy. We got a full gem from him. The big boys drop the complete gems. They don't drop shards. So we're technically already done, but since we're out here, I think we're just going to throw hands. Let's just have some fun for a bit. Let's go on a spree. We need to put some XP on this wand anyway. Ouch. Oh, he jumped right over that. Probably by accident, but he still jumped over it. Go ahead and swap out. Oh man, big guy, you scared the crap out of me. You know we're doing good when we don't even need the shield at this point. At least not yet. We'll probably need it again in a minute, but it feels real good to be that gangster, at least however temporary this is. That's another big boy. Interesting. He didn't give us temporary warp that time, but we got another gem. That's useful, because we may need to make more than one of those relays. I don't know how many we're going to need, but we may need more than one if we want a decent setup. Apparently you can get ravens as pets. There's something you can make to tame one. I kind of want one of these, the ones with the white breast and the red tail. They look cool. I'm going to have to look into that, because I don't know anything about the Undead Rising mod. The fish is undead. I don't know anything about that mod. It was all news to me, so... I'll look into that later. I think having a pet raven sounds kind of cool. This is kind of good anyway, because we need the XP as well for our vanilla enchanting. I made a mistake. I made a really big dingus tier dummy mistake. I'll explain what I did. In Minecraft, there is sort of a system where if you have like multiple enchanted weapons, you can combine them together to make a better version that has the enchantments. Like, it's possible to do that. That doesn't work for armor, though, but I forgot that. I actually forgot that that doesn't work with armor. So I thought I was being real sneaky and smart. And I was like, I'll make several sets of the rupee armor. And then, you know, haha, I'm just going to put the arrows away. We're not really using the bow that much right now. It's going to need some enchantments on it. I was like, I'll make them, and then I'll combine them. And that way I'll have a one set of armor with a lot of enchantments on it, and it'll be great. You know, that doesn't work for armor. So I put myself in a conundrum, right? I now have, like, a whole other set of enchanted rupee armor that I can't do anything with. But there's a solution for that problem. I inadvertently created a good object lesson. There is a way in using the mods in this pack to strip enchantments off of stuff and turn it into books. And that's what we're going to do. It involves Coriel Tombstone, believe it or not. The mod that when we die, we turn into a ghost and we get a key to our grave, right? That. There is some magic associated with Coriel Tombstone. It's nothing too crazy, but it has some nice, like, utility to it. And one of them is the ability to create a book. And that book lets you strip enchantments. So that's actually what those graves outside the house are, is to make Coriel Tombstone stuff. Jeez. Parasites still scare the crap out of me. In fact, that zombie that just dropped was a good example. It dropped dust. So I'll have to check my controls to see what button it is. I may have to assign it. But essentially, the way Coriel Tombstone works is it tracks its own XP. Ancient SRS is over for now. We never saw any werewolves. Maybe we have to be in a forest. Is this technically not forest? I guess it's not. I don't see any last-minute shadow beasts before the sun rises and kills you all. Any shadow beasts? Hello? You're a mimic. Get out of here. Yeah, no. I think that's all we're going to get for the night. Anyway, the way the tombstone stuff works is, let me teleport back to home and I'll show you. Home. The bow is nice, but it definitely needs some enchantments. I might put it in storage and wait until we unlock the multi-shot, then it might start slapping. Okay, so when you make a grave in Coriel Tombstone, you have to make them, okay? The Coriel graves are... these. You can make these simple graves, normal graves, cross graves, Super Rocky's graves, which I don't know what those are, and then you can make the original graves, which are these. I made some cross graves, you know, because you gotta represent, you gotta throw up religious gang signs. That's how that works. But actually, I'm gonna make a simple one because I think for some reason the quest unfortunately doesn't acknowledge the others. You need a simple grave for this. So just to show you how this works, I'll make one and then I'll show it to you. The way we do it is we make some dark marble or some like light marble. It doesn't really matter which. That the difference is purely aesthetic. Some packs that try to gate you behind some of the tricks that Corail lets you do will make it so these marbles are difficult to craft and require exotic substances. These don't. White marble and dark marble are pretty easy to make. Dark marble is made by combining graves dust with any stone, and white marble is made by taking graves dust, any stone, and any white dye. Okay, very simple. So we're gonna we'll make a white one. That's what we'll do. We'll make a white gravestone. So we need to make a simple. So it's 3 marble and then any skull. And I believe that is what it will. Actually, they really want, it seems like they want me to make a black one. I don't know. I was hoping making the others would trigger it, but they didn't, so that's not considered complete technically. I'm going to make exactly what it's showing me to make, just to try and complete that objective. We should have some skulls. We have a zombie head. That'll work. So if we do this, 1, 2, 3, and then there. Oh, they want skeleton skulls specifically. Interesting. Normally zombie heads work too, but I guess it wants skeleton skulls specifically. There. And that completed the Am I the Highlander thing. Now that's done. Okay. Now then, what we do is we take this simple grave, and you can throw it down pretty much anywhere. It doesn't matter. I put mine outside. When we start sculpting the landscape around our base and start to make it look nicer, when I turn my attention from indoors to outdoors, we will make a little graveyard off to the side. And I actually am going to go get those name tags from those dead NPCs, and I'm going to put those name tags on the graves just because I feel bad. Because you can do that. You can name these graves so they become so-and-so's grave. But what you do is you throw it down and then you wait. You'll notice all of these graves have like this little smoky ball circling around them, and this one doesn't. That's because there's a timer ticking down that you can't see that's about an hour. Sometimes it's 30 minutes, sometimes it's an hour. It kind of depends on the internal configurations of Corail. But real time, after about 30 minutes to an hour, a lightning strike will occur, and it happens even if the grave is indoors. I've tested it. And put a soul on this grave. So you can use these souls to do specific kinds of enchantment. Interacting with graves, enchanting them. We can also make an anka and pray at grave sites. These activities all grant us Corail Tombstone XP. And Corail Tombstone XP is an independently tracked resource that you use to level up in a Corail Tombstone perk tree and purchase perks that lets you do better at things. So let's go ahead. And the reason I said what that zombie dropped is relevant is because he dropped grave dust. We actually got some grave dust. We got 4 from him, which is pretty good, actually. Here's actually what we're going to do. We're going to make an Ankh of Pray, because I believe that's exactly enough. An Ankh of Pray allows you to pray for your soul on graves. Hold right-click near a decorative grave to pray. Right-click on the grave's soul. Resets all your perks. So we're going to need 4 grave dust, which we got from that zombie. 4 sticks, and a gold ingot. One of the perks, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the one that I suggest you invest in first, in my opinion, as someone who has played packs that have Corail in them, there is a perk that makes it so that you get more graves dust when it drops, and it also drops from all undead. Anything that is tagged as undead, so zombies, skeletons, wither skeletons, anything that's considered an undead in the game's tags can drop it. Since graves dust can be a little bit hard to come by, I suggest you take that first, because it's what lets you make these scrolls of knowledge. These are probably the primary means by how you're going to level up in Corail. The strange scrolls are made from 3 paper, 4 sticks, and 2 graves dust. The strange scroll can then be combined with various substances to turn it into one of these scrolls. A gas tier gives you the scroll of intangibility, prevents damage for a full second every 5 seconds, lasts for 10 minutes. The fermented spider eye gives you true sight, right? Enhances vision for 10 minutes. Sunflower gives you scroll of reach, enhances your reach for 10 minutes. The blue dye gives you scroll of purification, dispels negative effects over time for 10 minutes. The rabbit's foot gives you preservation, preserves experience and beneficial effects on death, so when you die, any buffs that you're under are preserved. That lasts for 10 minutes. It also applies to itself, so for 10 minutes you can just die all over and over and over again and it won't go away. Combining it with any stick gives you lightning resistance. Combining it with glowstone creates a scroll of knowledge, which you can use it, and then all of the XP that you currently have will go into the scroll. This allows you to store it, and then you can get it back by using the scroll. And then combining it with any feather gives you feather falling. Again, these all last for 10 minutes. The act of creating scrolls does not give you XP. However, you'll notice all of these say right-click on a grave soul to turn it on, right? These scrolls by themselves don't do anything. You have to enchant them on the gravestone before they become powered up, and then they'll start to glimmer, they'll shimmer like an enchanted item, then they can be used. So you need a lot of grave dust to make scrolls, and then you create scrolls on the gravestones. It's one of the ways to gain XP. It's the most efficient way. We can also use the Ankh of Prey, and I'm going to go do it. And hopefully, if possible, I hope it'll level me up, and then I can show you the thing. There's a keybind you can set that'll let you look at your purgatory whenever you want. But there's a shortcut to it where if you level your stuff up, you can just click on a box in the text chat to go to your purgatory to spend your perk that you've earned. So hopefully I level up and I don't have to reset a keybind to show you this. But if you pray, it makes this, and then there we go. First prayer. Lord Rain has made the advancement first prayer. Your knowledge of death is increased by 1. Creosote has been cast on you. I don't know what that means. So sometimes when you pray, you gain a beneficial effect chosen at random. But in large mod packs like this, there's a lot of random effects that can apply to you. I don't know what 12 minutes of creosote is going to do to me. I don't know what that is, but don't worry about it. Now you'll notice the Ankh of Prey has gone into cooldown for 2 hours and 59 minutes, for 3 hours of our time, not Minecraft time. It can't be used again. And this is a global cooldown. So even if I made another Ankh of Prey, I wouldn't be able to use it again until 3 hours have passed. But the good news is we can just put this in our bag and wait. It's fine. So if we were to go ahead and do this and pull up, knowledge of death is increased by 1. Do I have the ability to... No, I don't. I'm going to have to look up the keybind for that, unfortunately. That's fine. Controls. We can do that. Knowledge of death. Yeah, that's it. This is it from Coriel Tombstone. It's currently bound to none. Let's go ahead and bind that to numpad 1. Or are you saying numpad 1's not valid? What about numpad 2? What about numpad 3? What about numpad 0? There we go. That'll work. So this is it. I've leveled up 3 times. Because I had enough dust to make a few scrolls. I almost used all of my dust making the graves, but I had enough left over for some scrolls. So here's what I did. I leveled up Bone Collector twice. This is a plus 60% chance to find special drops on the undead. That's the spectral dust. You want to level up Bone Collector, I suggest prioritizing it. Because that allows you to get more spectral dust, which lets you level up faster. The Disenchanter is what we went on this tangent to talk about. The Disenchanter is an object you can make. By leveling up the perk that governs it, it increases the amount of enchantments you can extract from an item. So basically, what you can do, disenchant. So, with 4 grave dust, 4 blue dye, and a book, we can make a disenchanter. This strips enchantments from items and returns them to you as books. It doesn't give you all of the enchantments back. It strips some. However, for each perk you invest into disenchantment in the Coriel Tombstone tree, it increases the number of enchantments that are returned to you by 1. So this item will allow me to fix my mistake of being a moron and forgetting that you can't do that trick with armor. It only works with like enchanted bows and stuff. I am indeed a dingus. Don't worry about it. But anyway, Oh, and we have some rare treasure. Let's go ahead and open that bag and see what we got. Some potions primarily, which I don't really care too much about, but that's fine. Is there anything else of value in here? Ah, yes. The gems. This is primarily what we came out here for. The gems. So let's move on. That's cooking in the background. I just want you to know about Coriel Tombstone and what I'm doing with it. I'm pushing to get the Bone Collector maxed out so I can start getting a lot of Spectral Dust coming in. I have a sneeze coming too, and I apologize. It's going to be here any minute. And I'm also pushing the Disenchantment so I can really allow me to manipulate the enchantments I put on armor and weapons and sort of customize what I get. It also is worth mentioning, for those of you who are familiar with base, like vanilla Minecraft rules, Shadow Gem. The stripping an enchantment off of an item does reset its anvil count, so it becomes, it's treated as a fresh book, which is quite strong. You can, in fact, use that as a loop. The world just got stranger. I think that means we're being invaded by the aliens, is what that means. I should probably go outside and pick a fight with them. Yeah, and we need shadow gems as well to make these energy pedestals to create potential energy to power our Necronomicon when we eventually create one, because Meatballcraft is a Lovecraft mod. But primarily we are going to need antimatter relays, right? And we may legitimately run out of those gems. I don't know, man. We'll see. Let's go back to the Abyssal Lands is what we'll do. And let's pick a fight with UFOs and also see if we can get a few more of these, because I have an unfortunate feeling that to make a decent alchemy setup, we're going to need several of those. So let's go out and let's once again look for trouble and see what we can find. This is what we have so far. Let's see if we can improve our take a little bit. The UFOs harassed me to death in the early game the first time this event happened and they showed up. I'm substantially less afraid of them now that I have a magic wand that does like 50 points of damage a shot. I'm not that concerned about them. Although the rain is deeply obnoxious. I wish it wasn't raining. That's really upsetting that it's raining. Is that one of UFOs? The rotoscope. That's them. Get styled on, nerds. Yeah, y'all aren't fans of that, are you? The rain not only, I know it makes it hard to see from your end, but it makes it hard to, or it's obnoxious to hear, but it also impedes vision. I'm going to have some trouble seeing the shadow creatures in this because of the smoke. Normally they're easy to spot because they're smoky, but that's going to blend into the rain. I almost, I'm not going to, I almost want to go pick a fight with a Shoggoth and see what kind of damage, because again, like I said, Shoggoths, the old Shoggoths anyway, were hard-coded to be immune to all range damage, and they were supposed to be immune to magic damage too. I don't know how true that is, like if that's still true. If so, we would have to rely on melee combat with them, because I'd have to use the sentient sword. But I'm wondering if this pack changed that, because I think they can be reconfigured to be less obnoxious. I don't know if this pack has made them less OP, or... Probably not, knowing this pack. Knowing this pack, they probably fully expect you to use some kind of alien in a man suit. Is that what you are? You're a walker. You're that old sci-fi trope of the little midget in someone's head, walking them around like a mecha, mobile suit human. Is that what you are? Ow. Oh, it's a thunderstorm. If we can find a creeper that's hit by lightning, we could maybe get that charged creeper sack. I really need to check, because I know there's like, there's not an Electroblob wiki, I don't think, but there's like lists online of all the spells and what they do. I should check and see if there isn't a lightning spell that I can cast at a creeper to charge it. I would be shocked if there wasn't. That's probably how we're going to have to do that, is I'm going to have to find that spell and then cast it. We have a few lightning bolt spells. I don't know how useful it's going to be, but we have them. It's possible casting any electrical magic at a creeper can charge it. We'll see. Not really seeing much in the way of... Oh, hey, that's the... Ouch. Who did that to me? Oh, we're getting shot by a UFO. Where is it? Where are you? There you are. Modulo. You're the ones who were super obnoxious to me. That's an angry zombie from Thumbcraft. That is, I believe, that skeleton horse. Oh, hey. You're the special merchant. That's cute. That's another special merchant. Why are there so many special merchant assassins around here? You guys, this is dangerous. Don't hang out here. This is not safe, my guy. That skeleton horse is a trap. That's actually a vanilla trap. In vanilla Minecraft, there's a skeleton horse, and if you see it and walk up to it, lightning will strike it, and it'll turn into hellfire. Do you have anything... Not really. The Volcrums are potentially interesting. Heals thrower on hits. I don't know about that, though. But I think they turn into skeleton riders, and you have to fight them. So ideally, if you see a skeleton horse, don't go near it. Why are there like 6 assassins here in a group? What's going on? Are you guys having an assassin convention? This is very strange. I kind of want to trip the trap. Yep, there it is. This is vanilla Minecraft, by the way. This is a vanilla Minecraft thing, but it's very rare. You don't see it very often. Some mods will make it more frequent, but that is a vanilla Minecraft thing that can happen to you. I like pointing that out because it's an interesting thing, and sometimes people see stuff in modded Minecraft packs, and they're like, oh, everything in this pack is a mod. Why are there like 6 assassins here? What are you guys doing out here? You're all like not even selling anything particularly special. You're just selling guns. Kind of want to... Whoa. Hey, buddy. Kind of want to leave that creeper alive and see if it gets struck by lightning. I don't see any shadow beasts. Oh, wait, no. Speak of the devil. There's one right there. Man, they're hard to spot in the rain. I was hoping to find a big boy, though. We need more of the complete gems. Sorry. Why is there a hippocampus beached? For a second I thought that was a velociraptor. Why is there a hippocampus beached on the... There's some weird stuff happening in this forest, man. Are the assassins even doing anything? Oh yeah, the assassins are like throwing hands. They're... Don't worry, buddy. I won't let them overrun you. You should still probably not be here, though. I'll tell you that for free. Let's go ahead and dump all this crap off. Or wait, no. That's the wrong bag. I'll sort that later. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to do the Project E stuff this stream, but we may not be able to. We are running out of time, but that's okay. Oh wait, there's another big boy. Come here. Drop a gem, drop a gem, drop the gem. I get the feeling that I'm going to need at least 2 of those flowers, and maybe... I don't know if you need a relay for each flower. I don't know how that works. It sounds like you only need 1 relay, unless you make a really big setup. But you can also upgrade the flowers. You can upgrade the center block of it to make them more powerful. I may have to watch a tutorial on Project E at some point. I don't know, but there's like a million Strange creatures begin to vanish. There's like a million assassins out here. What are you guys doing? There's like 4 of them. 5 of them. Why were there... There was just a ninja convention happening in the woods. 6. There were 6 of them. 7. There's a 7th up here. What on earth was this? 8! That's crazy. Now, it is raining, so... the shadow creatures might still be out. 9. Or wait, no, we already saw that guy. This guy's 9, though, and he's 10. There's like 10 freaking dudes here. There's another skeleton horse over here, too. What on earth? That's a rare event, the skeleton trap thing. That's supposed to be rare. The only reason the skeleton horse hasn't burned to death is because it's raining. I should take advantage of the rain while I can. Yeah, hi. I don't know why you're here, buddy. You and your friends are kind of creeping me out. I'm not going to lie. I don't know why all of you are here. But I am going to pick a fight with these dudes because they could drop spectral dust. The skeleton riders. Oh, they hit each other and they're now fighting. That's cute. Man, it is dark down here. There's a clown in a cave underneath the bay. That's pretty funny. I could hear him blowing his horn. That's pretty cute. We did get some spectral dust out of that, so hey. And we got another spell book. I think what we might do is between streams I might grind out the next level of my wand and we'll see if we can get... I'll have to check and see if there's an electrical spell to charge a creeper. That's what we'll have to do. Because we're going to need a charged creeper thing to progress beyond a certain point. We're going to need that for Woot. I don't see any of the shadow beasts. I could have sworn they would spawn if it was raining in the Shadowlands, in a Darklands biome, but maybe they don't. Perhaps they are indeed a nighttime only mob. Tell you what, though, we're about to have to stop, but let's pick one fight. Let's answer a question, right? Because I remember we're gonna need Shoggoth flesh, and I said, you know, I don't really know if the Shoggoths still work the way I remember. Let's check. Home. Let's empty out our bags, recharge our wand, and let's go find one of those Shoggoth pits, and let's throw hands with one of the most dangerous things in the overworld right now that isn't a dragon. Because Shoggoths are nasty. They are nasty, nasty, nasty critters. In fact, they're so nasty, I might take all of my armor off, because one of the worst things they do to you is they wreck your armor. They will break the stuff you've got on you, and it's quite obnoxious to deal with. Golden boots protection too. Interesting. I might strip that. That might be worth making one of those things for, and I can strip that, and then I can melt the boots down. Okay. I can turn the boots back into gold in the Tinker Smeltery once what I can do is I can pull the enchantment off of them with the Disenchanter, so I get the Protection 2 book. I can use the Magma Anvil to repair them to full durability, and then I can throw the full durability boots into the Smeltery to turn them back into gold. So we're running a recycling plant at this point. Let's we're gonna need to repair the sign, I think. Melee damage protection. We're gonna take the slime boots off too. We want the melee damage protection, actually, from the full set of Rupee, which we don't currently enjoy when we have the slime boots equipped. So we're going to take the slime boots off. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make the chicken ring. In fact, you know what? Do we have enough time to make the chicken ring? We got to go find a chicken. But we could. We can't make... you know what? No, I'll do that off stream, because we couldn't use it anyway, because I've got to expand the power grid more. So what we'll do is I'll make the chicken ring off screen, and I'll show it off the next time we have one of these. And the chicken ring will replace the slime boots completely. I won't need them anymore at that point. Let's fully repair that. How are we at on this? What are we doing? We've got 4,000 stored up. Like, again, need to watch like a tutorial or something on Project E so I understand what I'm doing. But you can use those numbers to do things. It's alchemy, baby. Right, let's repair the shield is what we'll do, because that shield may very well be what saves my life, the Tinker's Shield. Because Shoggoths have an unfortunate habit of spamming attacks, and one of the most irritating features about them is that they will shred the durability of your weapons. So I'm hoping that their blanket protection against ranged stuff no longer applies to them. If it does, both the wand and the bow will not work on them, and I would have to kill one with a sword. But we're going to answer that question. Now, I'm not going to pick a fight with the Shoggoths that live right off my own shore, because if I lose that fight, there's going to be active Shoggoths wandering around near my base, which is a terrible, terrible thing to do. I'm not that stupid. So instead, I think we're going to maybe go over here. We're going to go up this hill a bit. We're going to go around the river and go over here, because that's an open Shoggoth pit. So let's go check that out real fast before we end the stream. And let's see what kind of damage we're capable of, or if Shoggoths are a measure too far for us in our current state. Sup, Cyclops? Still no King Chargers, but I'm waiting. One day we're gonna see them, and then I'm gonna yeet them. I'm gonna catch those guys. There's also a challenge, a wizard challenge over there. If we end up getting chased off by the Shoggoths before I quit, I might go fight them and then stop the stream, just so we can end on a victory and not a defeat. Because I get the feeling Shoggoths might still be a little bit too hardcore for us. Then again, they also seem to be pushing me to fight the dragons now, so I don't know. The quest pack is a little bit vague on what you should be doing, but first of all, give me back all of my saturation. Okay. Now, we'll start with the thing I'm almost certain won't work, which is the bow. I'm pretty sure they're totally immune to arrows. I'm very sure, actually. Oh, chicken, you're about to die. Shoggoths are hostile to all life. They'll attack that chicken. They should. Greetings. Yeah, they're totally immune to arrows. Doesn't do anything to them. They don't even take... It doesn't even bother them. See how it like deflects? They've got an aura around them that just stops it from hitting. But the question is, does it work with magic? Yeah, they're totally immune to magic too. They are exactly as BS as I remember them. Okay. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. I'm just going to die a horrible death, but it's fine. They aren't even bothered by being shot. They don't even notice. They don't even aggro. Let's go, to end this on a bit of a triumphant note, let's go fight these wizards. I say, right before I get instantly ganked by the wizards, because that's how wizards work. But I have the wand, so I can instantly gank them back. So we should be okay. Let's check this chest, and then we will stop. I issue you a challenge, gentlemen. Gentlemen. There we go. Ouch. 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 Please. Please. There we go. Oh, we got an accessory. Ring of Fiery Touch. Hitting a creature with a fire wand sets it on fire. Fair enough. Tome of Arcana Apprentice. Got some magic crystals. We got Arc, which is a novice book we've already deduced. We got one of these. I'm going to go ahead and take the chest. I'll take all these decorative stones. Then we're going to go home. And I think maybe next time I might expand the magic area a little bit and set up like a side room for the alchemy. And I think we will try and progress the main quest a bit further, because I don't know. I'd like to go to some more dimensions. Let's go exploring. Let's. Whoa! You can't just jump a man while he's digging like that, buddy. It's a great way to get stabbed. But anyway. Man, I'm not looking forward to having to fight those Shoggoths. We're going to have to kill at least one to get some Shoggoth flesh, but boy, howdy, is that not great. Oh, boy, howdy, is that not great. Actually, go ahead and put... Because I don't have that many baubles, I'm just going to store this in my bauble case because I can. I might as well take it with me. I've got the space. Anyway. And man, I do like how this looks. This looks so cool, having the giant cylindrical smeltery. Made out of glass. Looks so good. Speaking of which, before I sign off, and I know I keep saying I'm going to sign off and then I don't. I'm well aware of my own proclivities. But I was originally paneling these walls in with wood, just like the upstairs. But then I realized that there's sort of an opportunity here for some decoration. There is a tank called the Open Tank. Yeah, here it is. Open Blocks has a tank. And what it is it's a block, right? And it's kind of similar to the Endervar and how it works. You make one of these, and each one of those tank blocks holds 16 buckets of a fluid. But the nice thing about it is you can, any connected like tanks count as storage. So you have 16 and then you have 2 of them together in a 2x1, right, in any shape you want, and it's 16 times 2, right? It's 32, right? Then you have, if you have 4 of them, right, it's 64 buckets, right? And if you have a 2x2 cube of them, or a tall tower of them, right, it goes up to, 128 or whatever, right? So they're modular. They're completely modular liquid storage, and you can just build them in whatever shapes you want, and as long as they're connected to each other, as long as they're touching, they share storage. We're going to need a lot of liquid XP later, because experience points can be stored. Experience points can be stored as a liquid. Liquid XP, you see right here. And it can be used as a way to store XP, especially when you have mob farms running where you were killing mobs, we're killing monsters, and automatically XP will drop and it can be automatically collected and vacuumed up. And you can solidify XP, which we've been getting as drops from some enemies. They give us solidified experience from actually additions. It can also appear as a liquid. One thing I've thought would be neat is if on this side, where the industrial stuff is, I could have part of this wall just be tanks of lava from the Open Blocks tanks. So that way you can see, like, there's visible lava, and I could have pipes going into them and coming out, because it would look really cool. And then over here in the magic area, because liquid XP is used for enchanting, I could have the same thing where I have one of these walls is just looking into a large, like, I don't know, 7x7x7 tank of XP, which would be quite a bit of storage space. Technically, the drums are better storage. They're cheaper. They're cheaper to make, and they store a lot. But points are awarded for style, at least in my personal opinion. We do award points for having some style. So I kind of feel like it'd be kind of cool to do that and have those embedded in the walls. I think I will do that. I'll think about it, but I'm strongly leaning towards it just because it would look really cool. It's not the most efficient way to do it. We have better tanks, obviously, but man, would it look sweet to just have a wall of like lava, like a lava aquarium, and just having pipes coming out of it and feeding into machines, and having, some part of it coming out over here, and having a wall of lava visible here, and having a pipe come out and snake down and through and up into here, right, and just feeding lava to all the places it needs to go. I just think that would look really cool. Is it efficient? No, it's not efficient at all. It's a terrible idea from an engineering standpoint, but it would look really swag. It would look real cool. So I think that's what we're going to do, but that's plans for the future. For now, I'm going to sign off. I think I'm going to do some more construction and some more expanding our facilities. I'm going to watch a tutorial on Project E so I know what I'm doing. And we are going to, hopefully when we return, I will be able to press forwards past the On Medieval Vibes quest, and we will progress beyond that and see where we can get. I think we are gearing up for the Book of Worlds. I think, because we've been to the Nether, I think the next stop is the end. We're going to the end, and then the Twilight Forest. Which is good, because I think once we go to the end, the Twilight Forest is next, and the Twilight Forest is where we're going to get that steel leaf, so I can finally make the Tinker's Armor. We can finally have some Tinker's Armor to play with, because I think the vanilla armor that's enchanted is going to end up being better in the long run because of Advent of Ascension, but we will take a brief detour into Tinker stuff and show it off, because it's pretty cool. But for now, I think that's going to do it for me. This has been Meatballcraft, Dimensional Ascension. Regretfully, stinky edition. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Tune in next time when we continue to fist fight our way out of this dystopian hell that we have fallen into with the power of magic and science and meatballs, which I have technically yet to encounter, but I'm sure the meatballs are in here somewhere. Good night, dear listener. Good night.